Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Dylan and in this one I'll be walking through exactly what is required to pass the maths SATs papers. And as always, let's start off with some historical data. What do we normally need in order to achieve that age expected pass? And looking back to 2024, the pass mark in raw score, which is pure marks gained on the test, it's out of 110 and 54 was required to reach age expected. I know this is a maths paper, so I get to do some maths. That is just under half. So half marks would be 55 out of 110. So this is just under half. If you achieved half marks in this test, you'd be age expected. And you can see there is a huge jump up to greater depth. You need to get 93 out of 110. That's almost an extra 40 marks in order to just boost your scaled score by 10 to get to greater depth. So there is a big gap there, and it's worth recognizing. Also, what I really want to do here is just to break down what the maths papers actually look like. And this is really important. Thinking along to in 2024 needing 54 to pass, important to note that that changes every year. Okay, some years it was 57, other years it was less, more. It changes a lot. But what doesn't tend to change is the actual layout of the test itself. And maths is made up of 3 separate papers. Okay, and the first 2 papers will be sat on the Wednesday of the week. And the last paper is sat on its own on the Thursday. And we have paper 1, 2, and 3. Paper 1 is arithmetic, and I'll go through some top tips for that in a second. That's out of 40, and arithmetic is just straight up maths. Add these numbers together, multiply these fractions together, do some long division. You're given some numbers, some symbols, you've got to do some maths. Reasoning, which is paper 2 and paper 3, even though it's out of 35, realistically, you should think of reasoning as out of 70. It's much more than the arithmetic, and these are questions like joining up answers, filling in blanks, doing lots of working out, maybe 2 or 3 step problems. And again, we'll come on to how to answer those as well. But just think, what is your strong point? And I always point people into the direction of this, okay? So parents watching this, teachers watching this, look, arithmetic is the one where we can pick up lots and lots of marks. And I genuinely have the aim of getting 40 out of 40 when it comes to arithmetic, because looking at past papers, the same things come up. So anything we're not sure on, we can just drill, practice, and get better at. And if we do achieve 40 out of 40, that means we need 14 out of 70. What? That's 20% of the reasoning papers in order to achieve age expected. It's just worth thinking about. You can pick up many more marks in the arithmetic. That should be the focus, the core understanding, and ultimately, it's the doing of the maths. And unless you can actually do the maths here, you'll find it very difficult to then work on the reasoning as well. So let's look at the arithmetic then. All I've done here, I've just taken the selection. This isn't even brand new. This is questions that we've seen from the past. But the point being that you need to be able to answer these types of questions. Do you know how to multiply 2 fractions together? It's a very simple rule, but if you don't know it, you must learn it, because this will almost definitely come up for at least one question. To multiply 2 fractions together, you just multiply the numerators, that's 10. Multiply the denominators, that's 63. You've done it. Now that is very simple, but if it's something that isn't known, you're going to get 0. And the arithmetic, yes, some years something comes up, other years it doesn't. 90% of this paper is very predictable. Adding fractions, do you know that you need to change this to 10 out of 16? And once you've done that, it's 13 out of 16 when you add them together. It's as easy as that. Can you divide a fraction by an integer? This always comes up. Do you know to flip it to 1/3 and then multiply, which gets us 1 over 24? Very simple things. And what I'd say, if you want any revision on this, just go back onto our page. There's so much content. This isn't what this video is about. What this video is showing you is, do you know how to do long multiplication? Do you know how to do long division? Are you aware of BIDMAS, order of operations? Would you know to do this 48 divided by 6 first? Help yourself. The name of this video is how to pass this test. Well, there is so much out there, especially for arithmetic, that we can basically guarantee will come up again. Can you work out a percentage of a number? All of these questions are really important. And if the answer is yes to all of them, you're going to get a really good mark in the arithmetic paper, and that's all we can wish for. And parents getting our children ready, teachers out there getting their classes ready, this is the easy, low-hanging fruit that we can really teach our children in order to get them better. And whilst we're here talking about what we can do to help children get better, parents out there, you're watching this video, you're trying to help your children, why not sign up to our website? We have got so many more videos suitable for year 4 children, year 5 children, and year 6 children, any siblings we might have for children currently taking their SATs papers or even looking forward into the future. We have a huge catalogue. Just scan this code here, sign up to our website for absolutely free, parents. And when you do that, you will get access to a few video lessons for nothing, as well as some homework and some homework walkthrough. So it all looks like this. You may have seen this before. Hayden and I have recorded hundreds of lessons, all broken down into specific strands to help your children. There's a homework we have written for every single question, so every single lesson, sorry. So hundreds of sheets that we have made, and then a walkthrough of all of the videos, of all of the homeworks as well in video form. All I can say is it's completely free to sign up. If you do, you get some free access to some videos, and who knows, you might find it really, really useful and unlock the catalogue as well. Back to this video here and how to pass the test. Let's take a look now at the reasoning papers. So we talked about arithmetic, just nail them. We pretty much know what will come up. Reasoning is different. It's very, very tricky to predict what will come up because the questions can be asked in so many different ways. I wanted to show you this question here because I thought it was a fantastic question for a couple of reasons. Tick the statements that are true. A lot of the time when we see 4 boxes like this, at the top here, it says tick 1, and that can be in our brains. And if we only tick 1 here, we're going to get 0 because the question just says tick the statements, and statements is plural. So there's going to be more than one that we have to tick, excuse me. However, one is simple and one isn't. Let's just look through it. I'll show you what I mean. The digit 5 represents 50,000. Now, I'm hoping this is a simpler version of this question because 5 is in the 10,000s column. 5 lots of 10,000 is 50,000, so we can tick this. The value of the digit 9 is 900,000. No, this 9 is in the millions column. This is a place value question. Leave it blank. Don't even cross it, just leave it blank. The digit 6 represents 6 millions. We just spoken about how the 9 is in the millions column, so 6 can't be 6 millions. It's 600,000. And here is the kicker, okay? The hard question. The value of the digit 2 is 20 tens. Lots of people will look at the 2 and say that's in the hundreds. Can't be anything to do with tens. It must be wrong. No, this doesn't say 2 tens. It says 20 tens. And if we think about 20 tens, we would write 20 and then tens needs a placeholder. 20 tens is 200. This requires a tick. This is the ultimate version of a very, very tricky question that is built to try and trap you. Not only do you have in your brain tick 1, so you just tick 1 at the top and think you're done, you need to read the question carefully or have it read to you, and then know that I need multiple. So this trick 1 down here is a really good way to try and trick people out. Just be aware of it. Another thing I wanted to talk about is this joining. I've done this a lot for different videos for reading comprehension. We see this a lot, even in GPS where we're matching things up. My number 1 hint here, don't rush into these questions. The last thing you want is to be able to match things up and then go, actually, no, that's that one. Oh gosh, no, that's wrong. Wait a minute, I don't think any of them are right. To the bottom one here. This becomes an absolute mess and really hard to read. So take your time with this and make sure that you know your answer before you do it. And if not, use pencil and rub them out. What I will say is this. Looking at these questions, we can have a strategy here. Okay, we know that these 3 Roman numerals numbers here have to match up with these 3 numbers that we see here and we use in everyday life. What I would say is, let's say you're not sure what D is. I just can't remember because we know we need to learn all of our Roman numerals conversions. I just can't remember what D is, and that's in 2 of them, which is really annoying. However, that means you probably know 1. I know M is 1,000, I know C is 100, and I know X is 10. So 1,110. Okay, look, all of this I'd be doing in my head or using the space around it to do my working out so that I've got a really clear line here. Then it doesn't actually matter that I don't know what D is because both of these start with 500 and both of these start with D. This is probably a hint that D is 500. And from there, we can use the rest of our knowledge to work this out. XC, that's 10 and then 100. And I know if a smaller Roman numeral is behind a larger Roman numeral, we take it away. So 100 take away 10 is 90. That's 590. And look, there's a 1 at the end here and I see an I. You only need to know parts of the Roman numerals to match these up. Use that to your advantage if you get a question like this, especially with Roman numerals. Answer what you know, see what's left, and just do some working out. It's problem solving. It is reasoning. That's what this paper is all about. Take a look at this one. I just want to show you because it's so common that you get asked to work out change from a note. It could be £5, £10 or £20. And what most people do is they write down £5 and they'll take away £1.39. And this is fine. This will get you the right answer. However, exchanging across two zeros can get tricky. You might take this 4 and think, oh, I'll just whack this over to the ones. That would not work. That would be incorrect. The correct way to do this is to go one column at a time. So now I've got 10 tens, take one away. Now I've got 10 ones. 10 take away 9 is 1. 9 take away 3 is 6. Oh, nearly got that wrong. Decimal in, and then 4 take away 1 is 3. So it's £3.61, and you get the right answer. However, another way that I really like to do change is a number line, and I just do jumps. So the number on the left is how much I'm paying with, £5. The number on the right is the number I'm paying with. Number on the left is how much it cost, £1.39, and then I do jumps. So I'm going to do a 1p jump to get to £1.40. Then I'm going to do my tens up to the next pound, which is £2. That's 60p. And then I'm going to do another jump in pounds to get to £5, and that's £3. And look what happens if I add these up. £3.61. It matches whatever technique works for you. Big hint here. You have to be able to work out change from a note. £5, £10 or £20. It almost always comes up. Whatever technique you like to do, just make sure you're really good at it, and it will help you to pass this test because you will be picking up marks. Here's something I found really interesting. This is a 1 mark question, and this hint is all about knowing how many marks each question is worth. Because if you look at this, you see 1, 2, 3 gaps. And you might think, oh, that's a lot of work. 3 gaps, maybe I'm getting 3 marks for this. No. Knowing that it's 1 mark can be really useful. Because let's say, for example, you simply don't feel confident with this question for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is, there's going to be questions you're not confident with. If you saw it was worth 3 marks, you might think, this might be worth a bit of my time. There's quite a lot of marks on offer here. So you do it. Even if it might take you a bit of time, it might be worth your attempt. If you're not sure and you see it's worth 1 mark, so even if you get 2 right, you're going to get 0 because you need to get all 3. Circle it, come back to it later on. Okay, so look at how many marks the question is worth and just think, is this worth my time? If it's 1 mark, it's probably not. So here again, number of weeks and number of days. We need to know that 1 week is equal to 7 days. Luckily, we're given this information here. So 10 weeks times it by 10 is 70. 6 times this by 10 gets us 42. So we need to know our times tables. And here's where it's really tricky. Some people will see 105, just times that by 7 because it's what you've been doing, get 735. No, we're working backwards now. This is how many days. So we have to divide by 7. And you might even want to do some kind of bus stop method. 7s into 10 go once with 3 left over. 7s into 35 go 5 times, and that's 15. Okay? So again, just look at the question on its merit when you're deciding, is it worth my time? If it's only worth 1 mark and you're really not sure, skip it. Okay? If it's a hard question with lots to do, it's not worth it. We get a lot of people asking about coordinates, so I just wanted to sneak this question in here. ABC is a triangle. What are the coordinates of point C? This is what you need to know about coordinates. You always start at what we call the origin, which is 0 across and 0 down and up. Okay, always start there. And we go along the corridor, along the x-axis at the bottom first, and then we go up the stairs. Imagine you walk through a front door, you go along the corridor, up the stairs. So here we're trying to get to C, so I always draw where I'm going to. I'm going to go along the corridor, and we can see here I have to go along 6, so the first number is 6, and then I have to go up 2, and the number is 2. Very quick tip here, coordinates, you go along the corridor and up the stairs. One thing I will say is that usually when it's a coordinates question like this, it's usually embedded with a shape question as well. So it's really important to read the question carefully. Is it asking you just to find a coordinate, or is it maybe asking you to finish a shape, make it into a rhombus or a square? All of these things are things we can practice and realize that we have to know. So I know the features of a square, a rhombus, a parallelogram, a kite, a rectangle, an isosceles triangle, a scalene triangle, an equilateral triangle. I know my Roman numerals conversions. I know my conversions of measurement with kilograms, litres, metres, centimetres, millimetres. There's lots we just have to know, and that's something in our control that we can try to do. A class votes for a captain. 3/4 of the class vote for Sam. The remaining 7 pupils vote for Alex. How many pupils are in this class? And this is something I see a lot, where there isn't a box for your working out, but you obviously have to do working out. And I think sometimes people see there's no box and go, oh, I've got to do it in my head. No, you don't need a box to say show you're working out. That box is there because there are marks on offer for your working out. Here, there are no marks for your working out, but you still need to get to the answer, so you should still be doing some working out. Use this blank space here. 3/4 of the class vote for Sam. Anytime I see fractions, I'm drawing a bar model. It's as simple as that. Because it's quarters, I can write it as this. It's in words, again, just to try and trick us. But it's 3/4. They vote for Sam. So we have 3/4 here voting for Sam. The remaining 7 pupils vote for Alex. So this block here votes for Alex. And I know that's worth 7. And the question says, how many people are there in the class? Well, if 1/4 is 7, every quarter is equivalent to 7. Now I can use my total, knowing there are 4 quarters in a whole, or just looking at my bar model, which is why it's so useful. 7 times 4 is 28. There are 28 people in that class. Just because there's not a box saying show you're working out, does not mean you shouldn't show you're working out. You absolutely should. I really wanted to put this one in here because I referenced shape a minute ago, and this one here is the ultimate example of how we can make something really tricky, because ultimately the fact it says 3D shape, we often get a 3D question, but the way things are printed onto paper, it's always a 2D representation. So 3D shape is hard anyway, but this question's even harder because in this question, you don't even get a picture to reference. So you have to do it from memory, or you have to try and associate the shapes that you get here with something in real life. For example, a cube, I always associate a cube with a dice, okay? And what I'd say to people is, if you can imagine a dice in your hand, you can certainly start to count the number of vertices. And I'd also say, if you can draw 3D shapes with some degree of confidence, like this, with my dots being the edges at the back, that's also good, but you don't have to. But even if you can visualize a dice, you can think of 4 vertices at the top. Therefore, in the square at the bottom, there must be 4 more. So that's 8 in total. So I'd be matching cube up with 8. And then I'd go through. I've got 2 pyramids and a prism. Well, I'm going to go to prism because, again, I'm doing what I know. This is my test technique, and I'm solid with prisms. A prism is literally a shape, in this case, a triangular-based prism, that has the same shape on the other end. And the definition of a prism is that just that they're joined with edges like this. Okay? So if you're thinking about working out how many vertices a prism has, it's always how many vertices the shape has at one end, and then you double it because it has the shape at the other. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and therefore I can match up triangular-based prism with 6. Now I'm left with just 2. And even if you're not sure what these might look like, for example, octagonal-based pyramid, you might be thinking, I've never seen one of those before. Well, here's something you can do straight away. If it has an octagonal base, and you know octagons have 8 sides and 8 vertices, an octagonal-based pyramid automatically has 8 vertices plus an extra one at the top. So if we've got a choice between 5 and 9, we're going to go for 9 every time because it already has 8. And therefore, just from deduction, I can put my last one in as well. So what's really powerful, and you've seen it with a few questions now, is use what you already know to put down answers you're sure of, and then just see what's left. You might even be able to use logic just to get to the right answer. Here's a question type that comes up all of the time, and it always tricks people up. Let's take a look. Write the missing digits to make this subtraction correct. So a lot of people will start here. 5 take away 3 is 2. 7 take away 1 is 6. Something take away 5 is 8. Oh, no. I'm just going to change it and do 8 take away 5 and hope this is right with a 3. No, that will not be correct. Okay, that'll be wrong. Oh, I'll just do, what can I do? 13, because 13 take away 5 is 8. No, that's wrong. Here's how you answer these questions. You treat it as if it's a normal subtraction. So in a normal subtraction, I'm going to make up some numbers here. 312 take away 198. Where would we start? We'd always start in the ones. And that's what we have to do here. I'm going to start in the ones column. Blank take away 5 is 8. Now, there's no 1-digit number that works there. And if I work backwards the inverse, I'm going to do 8, add on the 5, I'm going to get 13. So I know this has to be a 3, because I have to get 13 somehow. But what would I do if I needed to exchange? If I was answering this question normally, I'd go to the tens, cross it out, put a 6, and take my 1 over. That is what you have to do here. Because now we have a 6. Not a 7, but a 6. And that means in the middle, it's not going to be a 1. 6 take away what equals 6? It's a 0. We're doing this question as if it was a real subtraction question. We're just filling in the blanks as we go, where exchanging is the key. Exchanging is the thing that makes this question tricky. 5 take away 3. There's no exchanging there, luckily, and it's a 2. And there's a way we can check this now. We can take the original number, which is 573, and we can take away 305, and we're going to see if we get 268. 3 take away 5, can't do it, so I'll exchange just like I did there. 13 take away 5 is 8. 6 take away nothing is 6. 5 take away 3 is 2. Yes, yes, it matches. When you get a missing digit question like this, it could be subtraction, addition, multiplication, even short division. Treat it as if it is an actual question and do exactly what you'd normally do in terms of doing your exchanging. That's usually how they make this question even harder. Guys, thanks for getting this far. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave us a like. It helps us a lot. Leave us a comment down below to answer this question here. What number goes in here? And why is this question written badly? Here's a hint. Let me know if you got the answer. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.